Corinthian said this is oil. It's probably big. What is bigger than oil? This thing is diamonds. Like, it's like so massive.
Not gonna do this with y'all. Y'all not gonna. This is cyberbullying, right? You know, it's just some things you can't do no more, and some places you can't go no more. So, some things you say you can't say anymore.
On Bourbon Street or not, but
Corinthian said this is oil. It's probably big. What is bigger than oil? This thing is diamonds. Like, it's like so massive.
Not gonna do this with y'all. Y'all not gonna. This is cyberbullying, right?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
I can't complain, man. I cannot complain. It's summer, Corinthian, summer nights.
Hey, look, I see you got your summer shirt on, man.
You know, summer shirt on.
Yeah,
I've been playing with some stuff on this computer, man, and I think it got me looking in 3D and everything. So I'm hoping the viewing audience is seeing me okay.
What's going on, Mike? Mike gonna take a walk with us.
Hey, what's up, Mike? Hey, Corinthian, man. Hey, welcome to Kicking It with the Kellys, everybody. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, so that means it's close to 8:30 West. What is it?
Central Standard Time.
Oh.
Yeah, we're an hour behind y'all.
Yeah, there we go. So it's 8:30 somewhere. and they go get what they get and don't have a fit.
Get what you get, don't throw a fit. Yeah,
correct, man. How you doing? Oh, somebody said this must be. Mike said this must be your dress down episode. Hey, you know how you go on sabbatical and you do
yeah,
you go on sabbatical and then they have dress down Sundays.
absolutely. And you see why it's necessary now. You got to rest and recharge and rejuvenate and absolutely.
Yeah, Corinthian, what you been up to, man? How's your summer going? How have these summer months been treating you?
Wow, man. So now we not in the school system no more. Myself, where you get that summer break off. So as soon as summer hit, it's going back to the office on Monday. Next Monday. But it's been going great, man. I actually just got back in town this weekend. My wife's side of the family had their family reunion. We were in Annapolis, Maryland, had a chance to visit the Annapolis dock, right off the Chesapeake Bay. We were right next to the Naval Academy, took a guided tour and cruise of the bay and near the Naval Academy. Had some great times, a fellowship with family and friends. We had a bowling night, so we had a great time. It was so beautiful to me, Arthur. So I lucked up and married into the Galloway family, and they got a saying, where there's a will, there's a Galloway, right? And I love that. So they've been doing.
They better have their own saying. I love that. There's a will, there's a Galloway.
Where there's a will, there's a Galloway. I got a shirt. They got a shirt every year. They had the family reunion, so had a great shirt. Once I get a little time, I'll bring it so I can see you. Got some great stuff. But they have been doing that family reunion in their family since 1987. Arthur, I was born in 1986, right?
Wow.
So they've been doing it for over 36 years, and it was just so beautiful to see. They had family coming in from as far north as Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as far west as Washington State, and everywhere in between. So it was just cool and beautiful to see, young to old. there celebrating and being together. And I told them when I was there, I was so proud just to be a part of it, because not every family does stuff like that. Like, there's some families that just get together, the extended family, for funerals, and to see somebody getting together for a celebration is beautiful to see. So,
Corinthian, man, I think that's one of the things that I was envious of, watching a lot of families have family reunions. And, I would hear some friends say that they're going to their family reunion. I have had friends that have planned their family reunions for their family, where a lot of their family was coming into town, as close as our immediate family is, right? That, and when I say immediate, I'm talking about dad, mom, you, me, Daryl, Veronica, our spouses, and our children. As close as we are, we did not experience family reunions with other parts of our family. Now, not saying that when we grew up, we had our aunts and uncles, that lived in Newport News, and we saw them frequently, right? And interacted with them frequently. And then we had our aunts and uncles that lived in Hampton that we interacted frequently. But outside of that, we did not have family reunions in scale to where we participated in. Now, I don't want to say that there was not a family reunion hosted. We just didn't go to. I know that there, we did attend a family reunion back like in Pennsylvania, I believe.
yeah.
We went to, and then on mom's side, they had family reunions with inside certain units of the family. But as far as big gatherings for everybody involved, don't remember per se. Not saying that they did not happen, but it wasn't on the scale to where we all, even us, we knew about it. So if mom and dad withheld that information from us, I'm not sure. But if you said you hit the nail on the head, funerals. We did attend funerals that we saw all the family there, and then we would hear all those stories. So kudos to all the families that do family reunions. I think it is very important, because right now we were trying to trace our ancestry, and then, Kia, was on ancestry.com and just making sure that she had our line, our lineage down pat. And there were a lot of loopholes that we did not know the answers to. So then we were trying to reach out, and I reached out to a couple of cousins, to try to find this information out. But this information would have been known to us if we would have been all together, just keep passing down. So I think it's very important that you know who your family is, and kudos to all those families that do family reunions.
Yeah. Yeah, Arthur, you hit the nail on the head, and I would add to that, it takes intentionality, to do it. You have to intend to do that. It can't be happenstance, and you could just see the plan. I mean, there were planning meetings to put this all together, Zooms, because you have families spread out in different places, but the intention was there. It's minutes, in the meeting, something like that didn't just happen just by itself, right? There was some intention. Right. And so it got me thinking, we're all now at the age where, Arthur, our immediate families, everyone is in their 30s or up. Right. So as adults with families now of ourselves, if we want to start a new tradition, we can do that. So it just had me hopeful that, we can, amongst ourselves, still do some stuff. We don't have to wait on our parents to tell us to do it. We can just do it. You see what I'm saying? So that's what got me thinking, what can we do? And it's really cool now that we have technology, with the technology that we do have, how do we still be intentional and make time to connect?
Yeah, Corinthian, I agree. And hey, Mike, Brittany, Heidi, thank y'all so much for tuning on. Kia says, so is this option 1 or 2? What do you know what she's talking about on that, Corinthian? Kia, can you add some more detail to that post?
I think she talking about the layout. Let's see.
Let's see if she talking about.
Let's see if she talking about the layout.
That's option 1.
That's option 1. And then option 2 was the close up.
The close up. It's either gonna be
you're gonna be either right in the screen or we got the
the time. She's on the time.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see where we at now.
Hey, it's the summer, correct? You know, it's summer months. I talk about it.
Yeah, it's summer hours. You know how operating hours change during the summer? It's the summer hours of the show.
Quick question for anybody in the chat. You know, it's summertime, so out for the summer. How many of you attended Vacation Bible School when you... Oh, hold on. Jackie, Veronica, and I talked about different options for getting family together. I'm gonna post that. There were 5 options. Kia, yeah. What? And like I said, Kia, you're so right. We are trying to make sure that our immediate family is taken care of. But I did see a post, Corinthian. There's a post that me and you talk about. I believe one of our cousins, I'm not gonna say no names, but one of our cousins somebody said, what was the post? I would do something. I would trade my cousins for $5 or something.
Hey, that post made me chuckle. That post made me chuckle. But to be honest with you, you know, when you take away the intention, or where you don't have moments in time where you connect, you know, with the family, as families grow, as folks get older, as they start their own families, that connection isn't there, you know. And our family on our dad's side, one of the main connecting hubs were Thanksgiving. The Kelly family got together. You know, and the Kelly family got together. We was gonna play Jeopardy on Thanksgiving. We was gonna eat good, maybe have some games afterwards. But that was something that we did for as early as I can remember, up till close to college for me. You know, so those kind of intentional touch pieces are so necessary. And I love what Brittany's comment was. I mean, you can't change what happened in the past, but you can decide what you want to do moving forward. So I think we're at an opportunity right now, you know, when you know better, you do better. That, you know, we can start reinstilling some things.
Yeah, thank you, Brittany. We could take the reins on that. If anybody you want to post in that comment section what they do with their family, do you go have family reunions? What is the extent of the family that you're talking about? A lot of times we talk about, you know, when we talk about family, again, we're talking about who lives in our house and our brothers and sisters. But we're talking about, we have a deep history. Our family is deep rooted in a lot of things, and the history is rich. Do you have a historian in your family, that somebody that you can call that knows everything about your grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, your cousins, your distant cousins, things like that? That's what we're talking about in essence. And Corinthian just went to a family reunion that they've been having this family reunion where everybody's coming from across the country since 1987. And you know, so that puts us in perspective. Over 30 years of coming together every year, or every other year, or every 5 years, or whatever. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I love to see it. I asked about, since it was summer, did anybody attend Vacation Bible School? The kids, or our boys, are going to Vacation Bible School now. I think it's very important. Obviously, it gives parents a break. Their kids get to go to Vacation Bible School, and they get the word. They get to interact, keep them active over the summer. They get to learn something. Also, if parents are going too, they have adult classes as well. I'm not going to the adult class. I'm just saying that right there. I'm dropping them off, and I'm running.
Man, that's a great outlet. So, Arthur, I had a chance today for work to go speak at a vacation Bible school called Seeds of Life at St. Mark Church. I got a chance to talk with their 4th through 8th grade young people there. And Arthur, when I tell you, I walked away like it filled my whole bucket. So I had a chance to talk with the young man just about not being afraid to let their light shine and hear a little bit about my story. But this is the thing that blew me away. So at the end, after I finished talking, I asked if there's any questions for me. One of the young men says, "I want to give you a compliment." He said, "Thank you for being patient and kind and talking to us today." Right. So that blew me away. That blew me away first. Then the awesome camp director, Miss Gina Johnson, shout out to Miss Gina and all what her staff does. She tells the boys, "I need 7 volunteers." And then around 10 people stood up. And she told them, "I want you all, since Mr. C poured into you all, I want you all to pour into Mr. C." So they lined up, and all of them told me a Bible verse from in a line. And Arthur, when I tell you, I was floored. And it just reminded me the importance of being in good soil. So what I mean by that is, when you're in good soil and getting good nutrients and getting good word and getting good encouragement fed into you, it got to come out. So these was young men in the 4th through 8th grade. They could have been anywhere this summer, but they at Seeds of Life Bible church camp this summer. And hearing, what they were being around, the positivity, the encouragement, I was so happy. Like, Arthur, it made me want to sign up. I'm 37. It made me want to sign up to be a part of that program, like as a camp attendee. Like, I was going to go through the camp, like, and sit in the class with them the way that they were, how structured it was. So, shout out to imagine if more kids were showing up to that every day and getting that good, positive reinforcement and, where we would be. So
no, Corinthian, that just speaks to the role of the church. In general, when, sometimes a lot of people think it's just Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, Wednesday night Bible study, maybe. And that's it. You pretty much, a lot of people attend church those 2 times, and that's it. But, just the resources, the programming that the church can do can really change a community. And for you just to say that what just happened at that Bible study, that's pretty cool. And Corinthian, we did not plan to talk about Vacation Bible School. So I was just kind of led to talk about Vacation Bible School. I didn't know that you went to Vacation Bible School today to speak to any kids. So I think that need to be said. And what was the name of the Seeds of Life
at St. Mark? At St. Mark United Methodist Church. They're doing an awesome job out there in Wichita, Kansas. So shout out to them for the programming. Mm-hmm. But Arthur, it had me thinking, see, we grew up in the 90s, right?
Right.
And so we had Vacation Bible School, but the Vacation Bible School was structured in a way where even if kids didn't go to church on a regular,
Right.
some kids showed up still.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I would even say even before that, right? Back in the day, actually, even if your parents didn't go to church, they would send you the kids to Sunday school and church.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like some of that gets lost, right? In today's world, some of that gets lost. There's some parents that do that religiously, but it's kind of falling off. And, you know, I don't know what the disconnect is, because when you think about it, all right, even if you don't necessarily agree with everything or all the doctrine and etc., what other space are kids showing up where they're getting a positive, treating people the right way? Like, where else are you going to learn outside of the house? Where else are you constantly getting that? Because I can tell you right now, in the school nowadays, depending on the school the kids go to, you don't hear that all the time.
Right.
Like, that's supposed to be what happened, good citizenship and stuff like that. But that ain't how it's playing out. Yeah. And I'm talking about even in elementary school, like looking back at my elementary school, if someone said a bad, like, shut up, people would be like, ooh, like that was how it was when I was in elementary school. Nowadays, you'll walk in school and somebody tell you, they can tell you what to do. It's like, it has changed, right?
Corinthian, we speaking on the notion that, you know, even if the parents didn't agree with the doctrine, or, you know, they weren't in church, they still sent their children to, because obviously, you know, at some point you have to understand that the kids need nurturing in a lot of different ways. The days of just the red punch, just giving the kids some red punch, go outside.
Yeah.
Those are done. Now, like, I love the fact that those kids were in Vacation Bible School and wanted to be there. And we have sent our children, they attended Vacation Bible School this week, a couple of times where we went to a Norfolk Tigers game, but they did a day Vacation Bible School at the church down the street. Yeah. Which is a huge Vacation Bible School. Wow. They have family nights and everything like that. So I love the sentiment of having your children involved in something. And now we're talking about Vacation Bible School, but we're also talking about camps. Like, if you can get your kids into camps. And one thing that kept us, Corinthian, over the summer is we were very fortunate to not only attend Vacation Bible School that we had, but we were very fortunate to attend the NYSP, National Youth Sports Camp, where we did a summer
National Youth Sports Program.
Program. It kept us together. It kept us structured. You know, we attended that. And then later, when we got into high school, we still need stimulation over the summer. Yeah. We attended job education training, JET.
Yep.
So just those mentorship, whether it's camp, Vacation Bible School, things at the church, something, it's all very important for building the next generation.
Yeah. See, Arthur, those kind of programs, why they're so important, think about it from the vantage point of exposure. See, by going through NYSP, we were exposed to a college campus because the setting was at Hampton University. We weren't college age students, but we were walking on a college campus, eating in a college cafeteria, interacting with counselors that were in college. So we were exposed to things that we didn't see every day, like in our community, in our neighborhood. And that is, to me, exposure is eye-opening. It's necessary. You don't know what you don't know, right? So I remember in NYSP, one of my camp counselors, she was from New York. I had never been to New York, but what was so cool was we're in the 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, and she's in college, but pouring into us young people. So it started planting seeds in our head that college is attainable, And then also we saw the model of when I get to college, it's still some things that I can do to help some people that are younger than me. So all that happened, by us being in that program. Now, some of those seeds, that were planted into us, they grew later on in life. So all of us have, actually everyone in our family, at some point or another has worked with younger people, worked in the school system and stuff like that. But we start seeing that as an example, whether subliminally or not. We saw a pattern. We saw some people doing it, right? So I thought that was pretty cool.
No, wow, Corinthian, and those programs for us were free. And that was the thing. We didn't have the money.
Arthur, you as a parent, I be thinking about childcare. The cost of childcare right now, like I can't even imagine. And shout out to our mom, because she was always trying to get us involved in things. I remember. Do you remember at Denby Early Childhood, the art program? She signed us up for the summer. I was in a drawing class. I know it was a free class. I remember that vividly. I also remember we used to go to the Grissom Library. They had a summer reading program. I remember bowling. This is when this is back near MCI. Back if you from Uptown, Denby. Back MCI, there was a bowling alley back down there. I remember summer bowling. They had discounted bowling and stuff.
When Corinthian, I'm so glad you just brought that up, because a lot of times we forget, as an adult, what our parents did for us or tried to expose to us, even if they didn't have much. Like you said, mom tried to have us in things even when we couldn't afford to be there, or something. She had us in things. And I was even thinking about, Corinthian, when McDonald's had the 15-cent hamburgers or the 29-cent cheeseburgers on Wednesday nights. Now, now we were going there because obviously, they were 15 cents and 29 cents. It's something that we could afford, but we made it a family event. And I remember that to this day, that we were going to McDonald's as a family on Wednesday nights. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, let's go get these. I was like, let's go get these cheeseburgers.
Arthur, them cheeseburgers. You remember the cup of fries? Like the big cup of fries. But look, Arthur, off Aberdeen, you remember that McDonald's? And they had the outdoor play place with them ball,
the balls. We was in the play.
Yeah, we was in the play place. And those plastic balls have a distinct smell to them and stuff like that. We had
it really doesn't take much for kids. And we have parents here, your kids, or you have younger kids. Obviously, our parents who have older children, you probably have already experienced this, and you probably have a lot of tips for new families. But Corinthian, and shout outs to Akia Kelly. I hope you're listening and still listening. Shout outs to my wife, because I will say this: she makes sure the boys are cultured, active, and engaged. And we just attended last week. Virginia Beach had movie night on the beach the whole week.
Wow.
Right? And it was free. And you could just come, bring your blankets, and go to Virginia Beach and watch movies. We went and watched E.T. on the beach.
Wow.
And I would have never thought of something like that. I wouldn't even have known where to look to find the information for this event. But she constantly finds things for the children. And I want to give you a huge shout out, Kia, because that is needed in our families today. Before you go, Corinthian, I just wanted to highlight something Heidi said. Keeping kids exposed and in structured settings is great. My granddaughter's school does a college summer camp each summer for the kids to attend for 2 weeks. They actually stayed in dorms and lots of activities, 0 cell phone or electronics, great exposure. And then she also says that all of the libraries also offer summer events for as early intervention programs as early as newborn for moms and dads. Lots of great reading programs too. Hey, let's get our kids reading. And then laugh out loud. Back in 1998, my family lived on those 10-cent McDonald's burgers.
Oh, yeah.
So we would save to get a home. We just bought a back. Okay, to make it a cheese. Oh, we just bought cheese to make it a cheeseburger. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Brought the hamburgers and then had the cheese.
Yeah, we're right there with you, Heidi.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we got you. But I love the point that Heidi made a little earlier with that camp that has zero cell phones and electronics. Like, what a lot of young people nowadays in this 21st century society don't realize, you can have fun without a screen. Like, you don't need a PlayStation to have fun. You don't need a cell phone to have fun. But our kid, because we aren't exposing them to different things and almost making them put the stuff down, right? Sometimes they are so used to, they can only have fun if they got a screen in front of their face.
Right.
Arthur, we grew up the 90s when we was outside playing. It wasn't no self. We didn't have no kind of technology. It was just us outside. It was a water hose out there, because you don't want to go back inside, because if you're going in and out, you got to stay inside or you're going to do some chores. And we found stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? And I think if I would submit that if we are monitoring that, like, the kids will be creative, but they just have to, they need that guidance to, man, no, you've been on PlayStation for 5 hours straight and you ain't moved.
Let's talk about that for a second, Corinthian. When we were growing up, we did not want to come in the house.
No.
If they called us into the house, we were mad.
No, you know how you walk slow when you get called in. Our head down, like, what you want?
Yes. I'm out here. I couldn't wait. Like, the sun came up, and we were like, yo, we about to go outside. And we did not come in the house until the street lights came on. And if we were outside after the street lights came on, Dad was outside looking for
you was getting outside and somebody gave you a heads up. Your dad is looking for you.
Granted, that's the worst.
Oh, it's a terrible feeling. Oh, it's a
your
terrible
dad
feeling.
is looking for you.
No, man, Arthur. So look, Arthur, it's the playing outside phase. Then the phase when you get your bike. Then you on the road, somewhere everywhere.
We were making truck stops and bike stops. We had a whole map on how we laid out what trails we was going to.
Arthur, with the Hilly Woods, anybody from Uptown, Warwick Lawns know the Hilly Woods. And I just think about the creativity of kids.
Yeah.
I remember out our way, some of the older kids made a store.
Yeah.
They made a store out there. Like, so I'm talking about, they ain't had no business license. Ain't nobody, had their MBA, but they had sense enough to make a store.
We had a candy store.
A candy store
where we sold candy, whether it was 5 cents or whatever, 25-cent blow pops. All those, but then just think, Corinthian, speaking of stores, now in our neighborhood, now we had official the candy ladies.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything you need up in there.
This store. At this store, this is something that we had to go get.
Oh, you had to go. It was brilliant. It was ingenious.
Kool-Aid cups.
Oh, the Kool-Aid. Yes. Get you a Kool-Aid cup. You remember the the lemon heads. You get some lemon heads,
Corinthian.
atomic fireball, all that kind of stuff. Not
Corinthian. Everything was at the Candy Lady's house.
everything was at the Candy Lady house. It was just brilliant. She could have took all my money. Yep.
Corinthian. Speaking of ET that we went and saw, you know the scene in ET where they're being chased by the police and they're pretty much in the flying V. Shout out to Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks flying V. Yeah.
They were in the flying V and then they started going up. You know, ET had them levitating. Yeah. But that's how we looked growing up. That's our bike gang.
We had a bike gang. We was rolling deep. We was rolling heavy.
Rolling deep, Corinthian. Don't let nobody pull up on you on a Huffy or a swing.
Oh, man.
You remember I had to swing.
No, but see, Arthur, you had to swing. You did have a swing. I had a Huffy. I had an orange Huffy. But this the thing. Arthur, see, we had community. Arthur, where did we go when our chain popped?
Oh, Corinthian.
We went to an adult. Adult helped us fix the chain.
An adult fix the chain. Now to make that chain, we use actually cooking grease.
Cooking grease. Cooking grease
on the chains.
Yes. Somebody had to show you how to do that. I didn't know to do that.
You flip that bike over, Corinthian. It's like you was in your own bike shop.
Oh, you was in your own bike shop. You learn. It's so much stuff that you can learn, in the community, right?
Yes.
But I remember, I think it was Antoine Chapman.
Yes.
And Carlos.
And shout out to Antoine, Corinthian. Yeah. Shout out to Antoine. Yeah,
man. But we love being outside. There was community. Out there, we had the football fields, we had the basketball court, that was the dumpster. We had the baseball
dumpster ball, man.
Yeah,
we had a now for our viewing audience, we didn't actually have a football field, but we had a long enough, big enough field that was known as the football field.
Yeah.
And a lot of tackling went on that football. We were playing with people that we should not have been that were not in our weight class. But we had no fear.
We had no fear out there.
No fear. And we was playing. When them Kelly boys showed up, we was playing, I'm telling you.
Man.
But then we had our own basketball courts. Well, we're telling you where we're from. We had a basketball court there, but for some reason, they would never put goals. Or we didn't have the money to get goals there. And I don't know why. And shout out to communities that keep their stuff together. They keep their playgrounds together. They keep them the upkeep of the basketball courts, upkeep of the community. Shout out to those communities. In our community, unfortunately, we did not always have a basketball court. So we had to make do. We had to be creative. We played dumpster ball.
We had our own baseball field, Corinthian. Had a baseball field.
Green tanks. And y'all know what the green tanks are, right?
I don't know what's in those green tanks. I just know they green and they got that humming noise. They make that humming noise. It get hot in the summertime.
Yeah.
Arthur, we was out there so long. You remember the water pumps with the red handle?
Water pump. And
I remember when they worked.
We was drinking from them.
Oh, absolutely. Pumps. No, they used to work. Yeah, they used to work back there. So folk that's around our way, they know exactly what we talking about. But I remember good times during the summer, not in front of a screen, like we was outside playing. And to me, there has to be a healthy balance because you need the sunlight, you need vitamin D, you need to be exercising. So, I'm talking about it does something for your brain. You learn problem solving outside on the playground. You learn safety out on the playground. You learn a lot of stuff, being outside playing. So.
Oh man. Listen, man, just get your kids outside. Get them outside. They got to play. But we understand the parameters now. A lot of folks don't trust people. and you know, your kids can't leave the front yard. We understand all the parameters that can be placed on children. Fortunately, we came up in a time where it was bad, but it wasn't that bad that we couldn't go play.
Yeah. But see, Arthur, you're right. As a parent, like safety, you know, is so important. It's paramount where you can't trust everybody. Yeah. But I think there has to be a movement where we take back, you know, outside. Basically, if I'm outside and I see kids playing, they safe.
Oh, they safe. Yeah, because I'm looking out for them. My neighbor. Corinthian, I'm so that you just brought up something. We have to get back to the point, and I don't want to say trusting everybody. The community that you live in, everybody got to be on the same page. Yeah. Nobody's coming on our block acting crazy. We looking out for the kids. If we see somebody speeding down the street, our neighbor is telling them they better slow down. It's kids on this. On this road. Like we gotta start looking out for them. Like, wow, Corinthian. Like on our street that we live in, our neighbor. You know, if I'm not home, they go ask our neighbor, can they get the ball pumped up? Yeah, things like that. You know, fixing the bike, all those things, and they just look out. Our neighbors look out for our children, man.
But see, that's community, right? Yeah. So we have to get back to community.
Wow.
And it's so important. Now, it might be just one person at a time, but I'm of the mind, Arthur, if I'm outside in earshot of kids, these are kids that aren't my own. They say, I'm going to look out, you know, or I'm going to engage in some kind of way. Or if I see them out there doing something silly, I got to say something. I feel a personal responsibility as someone that's sober minded that you know, I'll give an example. I'm leaving a work event, right? And it just happened to be near a school. So kids are out playing. They had just finished. I actually think they were either about to start a practice or they had just finished. So everyone pretty much had left and they were just out there playing. So, you know, of course, how kids do when you in middle school, you roughhouse, you start wrestling each other and stuff like that. So I see it and I'm like, well, instead of them playing with the ball and playing something constructive, they playing around. So I go out there and I'm like, hey, toss me the ball. You should have seen how the kids start responding just on engagement, right? So the kids was just wrestling 5 minutes ago. Now all of them telling them, let's run some routes. It's just because of the engagement. So what I would say is you never want to miss that opportunity, because what I would hope the kids are taking away is a model that when the kids get my age and they see kids outside playing, they engage, right? So now that I'm throwing the ball with them, now I can ask them questions. What school y'all go to? What them grades looking like? You know, all that kind of stuff happens. But if I was standing and walked past them, they wouldn't have said anything to me, right? But that engagement, you know, from that engagement, I was able to kind of connect. So I think that's so important. You can't miss that opportunity, especially, you know, as a black man, especially when I see young black kids outside playing. I gotta acknowledge them. You know, I gotta.
Yeah, I think there's a post. You know, I can't remember the post, but we have to want what's best for children in general. They are the future. Yeah, and I don't ever want to stunt somebody's growth. So if I can be any assistance to anybody that doesn't know, and you can't think that everybody, I mean, you don't want to step on toes. You don't want to steer. You don't want to give them mixed messaging. But something as simple as, like you saying, just tossing the football with somebody because they had a football and you might know a little bit about football, just teaching them how to throw a spiral, just something, just impacting in some kind of way, just leaving your imprint. But then it's because a lot of adults got sick minds and everything like that, to where parents and people don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
So we got to get back to a point to where the sickness has to stop somewhere, but it starts with programs like you just said at Vacation Bible School, when you were just there, and what happened at the end of that. Yeah. Hey, Mike brought up a good question. He says this, did you think that there is a danger of parents sacrificing relationships with their kids in favor keeping them involved in community programs?
Wow.
Corinthian, do you understand that question there?
Yeah, that's a great point that you make. So this is what I would say to that. I don't know if it's a generational thing, but I think about kids being on teams. You learn what you like by trying it out. So I've seen young people, there's been parents that have had kids in certain programs that I had, that after the first day of them not liking something, they say, I want to quit. And their parents like, well, my kid don't like it, I'm gonna pull it out. And to me, that's a wrong approach, right? I would rather, if I sign you up to do something because you told me you wanted to be in gymnastics, so I sign you up for gymnastics, you're going to at least do the first season of gymnastics. You started it, you got to finish it. Because there is lessons learned in pushing through and persevere. When we go to work, we do not like everything about our job, but we can't just say, the first time I don't like something, I walk out and quit, right? Because that becomes contagious, right? Then you'll be trying out 15 different things and quitting everything after the first day. After somebody tell you got to do 3 more push-ups, I don't want to do this no more. So there's a balance, right? Now I'm of the mind, if I had kids, I'm telling them, if you've pressed me to sign you up for this, you're going to at least finish the season. Then after the season, we can evaluate it, right? Where you can try something else. Maybe that's just that don't come natural to you, but you still got to show up and put your best foot forward. So,
yeah. Correct. You're speaking facts. And I think the biggest word is we have to expose them to life.
Yeah.
And yes, we know that a lot of times what we teach our child, or the things that we're scared of, a lot of times we project on our children. Our fears we project on our child, which then just is a snowball effect. Not saying our child will be afraid of everything that we're afraid of, but if we constantly, like bugs, all right, bugs typically won't harm you unless you are messing with them. But if you have a constant fear of bugs and you're always, oh no, get away from me, get away, then your child would probably do the same thing. So we have to be mindful that, mommy might be afraid of bugs, or daddy might be, but you don't have to be. Like, so if they see something on TV and snakes, and I believe our kids went to one of their baseball friends' house and they had a petting zoo there. Now, I don't want to hold a snake, but I don't want to be a hindrance to my child that might actually like snakes.
Yeah.
And go ahead on if you feel comfortable doing it. Roller coasters.
Yep.
We might have some parents that are scared of roller coasters, but don't be like, no, we don't, our family doesn't ride roller coasters.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I think the encouragement of the family to say, hey, try it. If you don't like it, then like you said, we'll evaluate, but we're going to expose you to it. And again, I don't want to be that parent that hinders my child of doing something because of my fears.
Man, that's a great point, Arthur. That's a great point. It's like the projection. You don't want to project your fears or insecurity about something on your kid.
Correct.
Arthur, that extends even to, I mean, it's even deeper than that. I've met people that said their parents told them, you know, why you applying to college and stuff like said stuff like that for them because they didn't go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they had this fear about this unknown school because they didn't go. So what you worry about that for? Why don't you just do what the rest of the family did, you know? And just like you said, you don't want to project your fear or your insecurity on your child.
Right? Oh, Corinthian. Oh, okay. It's about to get deep, Corinthian. When you're saying that, let me read these comments, and then I'm going to say it might get deep for a little second. Just bear with us. We can talk through it. We had a comment, Corinthian. I think there's danger in making your kid push through when they're miserable. There's a time and a place to teach a lesson. I agree with your point, but think it's case by case. I will take that.
I agree 100. I agree 100% with that. Like, I'll say this point. It could be. I mean, parents know their child, right?
Right.
It could be a situation where your kid is like, man, it's somebody really bullying, or it's a weird idea. Like, then I would say, no, I'm not going to push you through. You know, you got to know your kid. So to that point, definitely the case by case basis is important. Yeah.
Another one, Mike, that's a great question. Parents have to find a balance, but I'm a proponent of finding some community programs where I can volunteer or support in some way. And that is very true. So me and my boys are in a basketball camp right now. Well, they asked me to facilitate, but obviously my kids get to go for free. So I'm there helping. I'm doing that, but they get to come. And so I'm involved. I'm going to coach my son's flag football team this fall. So just staying involved in those community programs. So I agree with that. And then we had another one. The same kids that don't finish what they started now will be the same adults that don't do their part on the job. Wow. That's I'm going to say it how Heidi said it. Now that's deep.
I agree. I agree.
Wow. Okay. Corinthian. All right. While you were talking, and just bear with me, when you were giving the idea of, obviously we said we can't perpetuate our fears on our child or our misdoings on our children or our inadequacies on our child. I was thinking about single parenthood for a second, and please, this is not, I'm not on one side of the fence, but one thing that I would say is for our single parent homes, one thing that I would encourage you to do, even if you're not married or in a situation where you have active father or something like that, I would encourage you not to badmouth the other party. Please don't do that. No matter how bad that they might be in your eyes. The only person that a child that can call someone their father or their mother is the actual child. That's their father. That's their mother. That's not your father or mother. That's their father or mother. So I would encourage you, please don't badmouth the father or mother in front of the child. Also, messaging when it comes to units, I would encourage you to speak to the greater that mom might be a single parent home, but this is not something that I want for your life. Because then the cycles will just continue. You should be, in a sense, and you might not be the example, but you can advise. That's the thing. You might not be the example of what you're talking about. You're not married. You might not be the example, but you can advise them in a great direction. And the thing is, you're either going to take sound advice or you're not going to take it at all. So again, you might not be the example. So never say, oh, well, I didn't do it. I didn't go to college. Well, you might not be the example, but you can advise them too.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So that's all I wanted to say on that, Corinthian.
Yeah, man. I agree with everything you just said. Absolutely. Yeah.
What I mean is there a danger that a parent may not build a relationship with their kid because they are always sending them to various programs? Oh, okay. So he adds some more context into his original statement, Corinthian.
Okay. Okay.
So you mean obviously dropping them off. And Corinthian, I'm sorry. Arthur, that's in a single or two-parent household. Don't speak ill of your partner in front of the kids, period. I agree with that. So
I agree.
Mine with just a singular argument, it is actually a multifaceted argument where don't speak ill of a parent, grandparent, anybody.
Yeah.
While you are in front of your children. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
You know the statement we used to hear: if you don't have something nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Wow.
But see, Arthur, now we all have heard that statement.
Yeah.
Right? But it is hard to practice day in and day out. Right. Yes. And kudos to all the parents, single parents, two-parent households. I already know it's hard work. It don't come with no book. It don't come with no manual, right? But I'm always of the mind, when you know better, you do better. So as you learn different traits, you might have not had great examples, but what I would hope you're doing is, well, what's a good pattern example that I can follow that's pointing me in a positive direction? That might be somebody at the church. It might be the older 40-year married couple at the church that I need to be asking, how did you make this happen? Right.
Wow. Wow, Corinthian. We're going to go back to that question since there was some clarification. Is there danger that a parent may not build a good relationship with their kid because they're always sending them to various programs? And I believe you're going from the mindset of, the old trope that we send our kids to boarding school because we want them out now. Community programs are vital. They're vital for everything that the child, and you can kind of hear what me and Corinthian are saying. It takes a village. It takes a community to raise a child. There can be a lot of books, a lot of parental books, but you need the community to make this successful. You need a certain structure or a system to make this successful. Now, it could be that you are homeschooling your child. It could be that. Where you're homeschooling, you're teaching them what you want them to know about religion, education, employment, everything. But then there's a social aspect too. That when they get out, they're not going to be homeschooled anymore. They're not going to be at home. They're going to be out in society. So have you tackled that piece? Because I've seen a lot of homeschooled children and how they act now. I've seen it for the latter, and I've seen it for, the work. So I would say that you have to meet it in all aspects, and community is very important. They're going to be citizens one day. They're going to live in neighborhoods. So the community is very important. They have to make friends. I don't think we can get through this life without having a friend in the world.
Yeah.
I just don't. So Corinthian, you might have some more of that.
Yeah. Arthur, in your answer to Mike's question, what I hear is balance.
Yeah, balance.
Right. So if you were using the community program as a substitute for you spending time with your kid, then that's wrong. That's out of balance, right? That means you just sending the kid and telling somebody else, here, you do it, right? Where that's not right. And then on the flip side, what Arthur was doing with the homeschooling analogy, holding the kid too close and not letting them go outside and experience nothing, not being the helicopter parent that swoops in when the child, falls down, and instead of saying, all right, you're fine, wake, pick yourself up and keep going, smothering and making it, like it's the worst thing in the world. Like, to me, that's out of balance as well. So the kid throughout life is going to experience things where you're not going to be there all the time, right? So they have to be able to, in situations, be able to navigate them, whether you present or whether you not. And you can only learn that by experiencing stuff without you. Like, so you can't be with your child 24/7, right? And then you can't send them the stuff 24/7 as well. So I said it to say it's balance. If that makes any sense.
Oh no, yeah. It's balancing everything. You had to first of all, you had to find the programs that they were going to be in. So you were intentional. So parenting, you were intentional. But if you have the mindset that you are sending them away because you don't want to deal with them, that's going to show. And the thing is, it's going to show in a hard way for you. Because when they get older, they felt that already. They felt that when they get older, be prepared for resentment. And you can try to say, well, I did this, but they were like, you didn't do it with me.
Wow.
And that's Corinthian, I think about that a lot, every time, I discipline the children or something like that. I'm like, man, I hope they got the message. and when they're older, because it's gonna be a hard pill to swallow when your kids don't want nothing to do with you, or when you get older and you're gonna be looking sad in the face.
Wow.
But Corinthian, you said you hit the nail on the head. You gotta be balanced. Everything has to be balanced. It got to be a balance of discipline. It got to be a balance of correction. It got to be a balance of praise. It got to be a balance of congregation. It has to be a balance of everything.
Yeah. And Arthur, that's easier said than done, right? It's stuff that you have to learn over time. It's stuff. All right, Arthur, I'll ask this question to all my parents on the phone. Do you think it's appropriate to apologize to your kid?
Yeah.
I know it's gonna get tight in here. I want to hear this. I might ask this question on all Facebook.
Yeah, all platforms.
Yeah, on all platforms.
So the question is it important to apologize to your kids when you are wrong? No, hold on. I put another caveat on there. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to add to your question.
No,
I apologize to your kids in general.
Yeah.
I hope somebody does give us something on some feedback on that. I will hold my I will hold my comments. But hey, world, if you're joining us, we're kicking it with the Kellys. We've been on for a little over an hour. It's the summer. Hey, we just chilling. I'm in my Hawaiian shirt. Thank you for kicking it with us. And it's a question on the floor. Is it important to apologize to your kid?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, my first. Yes, it's okay after the whoop.
I get the sentiment.
That brings us to another question. Who is for whoopings? But I still want everybody to answer that question. Is it important to apologize to your kids? And that might be another show in itself. Yeah, Corinthian, I'm going to say this. and I've been learning this because Blake, I gotta give a shout out to little Blake. He's doing his thing athletically. I see a lot in him that I hopefully can continue to flourish. He's a go getter, and then Baylor, he is one that is very artsy. He has a great ear for music, and they're two different children. You raise them the same sentiments, but a lot of things you do with them are different.
Yeah.
So I will say that. And Blake gets on me, Daddy, why you have to yell? Why you have to yell? Why do you have to yell at me? They but I can see him. I mean, his wheels are turning, and he's a very analytical thinker. And it makes me chuckle. Even when I'm mad, it makes me chuckle a little bit. But he has me. I said, well, okay, Blake, I'm not going to do that anymore. But I'm not telling you that you're not going to be in trouble, or I'm not going to yell. I said, I get excited too. And it just so happens that my voice carries the most in this house. So sometimes, you don't take my kindness for weakness. And you have to understand that. But I had to end up apologizing to him. So yes, I would say it is important to apologize, especially when you're in the wrong. Especially if you get something wrong, you got to apologize, because you have to teach them that they can't go through life without being sorry. And that goes from naturally and spiritually as well. It's only one person that we sin against, and that's God. So if you're not apologetic or remorseful, then repentance, there has to be some repentance in your heart. So that goes for parents and for children. So we got another answer. When you are wrong, yes. But if you were not, no.
I can agree with that. Yep. I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah. Oh, can you repeat the question? I couldn't hear over these kids. Corinthian, can you repeat the question for the audience?
So I asked the question about, is it okay to apologize to your kids? Or do you apologize to your kids? God.
Yeah, absolutely apologize.
Yeah.
Kia is the what is it called? What was Frederick Douglass called? No, he was an abolitionist. They call it in the scriptures, I believe. They what they call theologians that I can't get the term. Somebody might even be able to put it in chat. But yes, Kia definitely apologizes to the children when she feels that she was wrong. So I have to give her kudos for that.
That, to me, that's great modeling, right? I would say for the most part, kids go off of examples, So when young people can see the example of none of us are perfect, we all make mistakes. So the humility of being able to apologize is something that is, I think, a beautiful thing and a great teachable moment, especially for young people. I know some of the struggle is always, especially in my head, how I be rationalizing stuff, why it's very hard for me to say I'm sorry. It's because what I'm telling you to do is for a reason to help you, right? Right. So when you put that in there, at the end of the day, me yelling and telling you go do your homework and stuff like that, it's to help you. Arthur, you're telling Blake and Baylor to do stuff. It ain't gonna help you. It's gonna help them.
Yeah.
You done with school. You see what I'm saying? So that's part of the frustration that happens a lot of the time. But I love how you said you have learned and grown that kids, it's not a one size fits all.
Right.
What you can say to Baylor, you can't say to Blake, and vice versa. You know, because they're going to receive it differently.
Yeah.
And that's knowing when you know your kids, you know, it's some kids that you might have to tell them 5 times to do something.
Yeah.
Or especially when you have multiple kids, it's one. All you got to do is say it one time. Actually, it's some people kids where they don't even have to tell them. They already know, to do it. You don't have to be behind them, but,
And that goes from knowing your kids. And you know your kids because you're not always sending them off to camp to Mike's.
That's it.
Mike's. See, you can only do this if you know your kids.
That's very true.
Mike said, seriously, speaking, it teaches humility and combats against potential narcissistic behavior in the future.
I agree.
And that is so right. And that goes to what Ms. Felder said when she said, and I'm looking for her quote, and let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Oh man. Oh, here it goes. She said, the same kids that don't finish what they started now will be the same adults that don't do their part on the job. and that goes to what Mike was saying. Hey, Corinthian, I found what I was looking for. I knew I wasn't going crazy. Apologetics in the Bible is quite literally the defense of the faith. So that the Greek word apology means defense, as a lawyer gives at a trial. So the defense of the faith. So I knew there was a term in the scriptures about the apology and apologetics. So I'm glad I found that. Corinthian, man, listen, man, the children are our future, and we got to let them grow and lead the way.
Yeah. Yeah, like the song say.
Like the song say.
Like the song say. Yes. Yeah, but also, have we been creating the right environment for them to flourish? And I'll say it like this, not to get too out there with it, but it's parents' job to filter. The parent is the filter. So it should be certain stuff that parents that are doing what they're supposed to be doing and saying, no, that's inappropriate. You can't listen to that. You can't watch that. I don't even want you to see that. I don't want you exposed to this. I would say our young people nowadays are as advanced or moving as fast as they are because they've been exposed to a lot of stuff, like where the parent didn't filter. Like,
wow.
I'm thinking in my head, if I have young kids, like, what happened to the barrettes and the knockers and the skorts and stuff? Like, to me, I know nowadays that would be called old fashioned, but what I'm saying is it's a certain level of exposure that I wouldn't want my kid to see or experience until I know that their brain can comprehend, like, until they mature enough to handle that. Like, I would say some of our young people are exposed to far too much stuff, and they shouldn't be exposed to it.
Right? Oh, Corinthian, you about to take us on another journey. I wanted to harp on something, and then we'll go into what you were saying. Not wanting to apologize is ego. And we're not talking about Beyonce. We have to display the fruits of the spirit: long suffering, gentleness, and self-control come to mind. That's the fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, and patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace.
Is that from Vacation Bible School?
That's children's worship, baby. Heidi said some kids you have to even direct even into adulthood. So true. They can come from the same household under the same parents, but all kids are different.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Once a parent, always a parent. Just because they turn 18 does not mean they don't need your direction. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Maturity is the key. Hey, I put our guest code in here. If anybody wants to log on real quick, we're gonna go a few more minutes tonight. We haven't been on in the past 2 weeks, I believe. We've been busy, so we're gonna extend our time just a little bit. If anybody wants to hop on to give us your direct take, please hop on. Corinthian, you were just saying something so profound when it comes to everything, and Heidi just said that once a parent, always a parent, and even when they get older. But Corinthian, we have to gatekeep, as you were saying, and filter, right?
Yes.
And you said something about barrettes, and I was just thinking, like, when we were coming up, we had to make sure that we looked presentable out in public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we had to make sure that our lotion was on.
Yes.
That we brushed our hair.
Yep.
That we looked nice and neat.
Yeah.
That's all a part of filtering.
Yes.
We had to make sure that we had a pair of dress shoes and school shoes. You could not wear your school shoes out to get dirty.
Yeah.
So a lot of this now, if you can afford a lot more shoes, then that's your business. I understand that, but the filtering process where we had to make sure that we had a belt.
Yeah. Yes.
We cannot wear pants without a belt. That was a part of the filtering process, and I think a lot of that has gone away from Corinthian.
But see, Arthur, to that point, we were taught that standard.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So how can you aspire to a standard if you're not taught? So again, this goes back to the onus is not on the kid, it's on the parent, it's on the teacher, right? Where we were taught why this is important, being neat and presentable out in public. So to this day, at 37, you're not going to see me walk outside in pajama pants and go to the store. I can't do that, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to be neat and presentable. I didn't say you couldn't go outside and relax, but the point I'm trying to make is that I want to put my best foot forward out in public.
Wow.
Right? Because I'm representing me and I'm representing my family, right? When I go out in public. So if you haven't been taught that, why would you do any different? Then it would be okay for you to go outside with the, I think about with the bonnet. I'm talking for young ladies with the bonnet and stuff. Now,
you said bonnet. Bonnet Chronicles, Corinthian. You about to touch on something,
right? Now, if that's your cup of tea, great. But it for me, that wouldn't be something that we're going outside in public presenting, right? That's just for me. Now, if whatever floats your boat, great. And so filtering. It's certain music that a third grader should not even know exists.
Yeah.
But now we got social media where I've seen videos of third graders that know every lyric to Glorilla's song. Now, if you have that kind of memory, that means that you can memorize math facts, you can memorize Spanish, but you memorizing Glorilla, can do all the dances. So the point I'm trying to make is that right there. You know what?
I'm just gonna let you. I'm sitting back.
Y'all ain't gonna get me in trouble. Y'all ain't get me canceled tonight.
You know how you just sit in the past. Corinthian.
You was like it.
Corinthian, listen. I'm just gonna sit. Matter of fact, I'm not even in the passenger side. I'm just gonna sit in the back.
Arthur, Arthur, you was gonna just let me. You was just giving me more rope. You was like, just keep on talking. But to be honest with you, no, and all in all seriousness, I would love to hear the alternative on why it's okay not to filter. Like, why would it be acceptable for the second grader that I have seen? I've been in school with the second grader that knows all these advanced lyrics of stuff, and I haven't seen mom or dad come up for the parent-student check-in, but they know every lyric to the song. The song is made for grown-ups, like college students and stuff like that, but they know every lyric to the song. I'm thinking, who's filtering?
Ooh.
You know, and I think as a parent, it's important because think about how a child's mind is. Arthur, you got to tell your kids that's enough candy. Because if you don't do it, they're going to eat candy until their stomach hurt.
Yep. Yeah.
That's not on the kid. That's on the parent. The parent has to say, no, that's enough. I got to, no, you get one more piece and you go brush your teeth. Like what I'm saying, unless you teach that kind of stuff, if you don't, what you're going to see is the kid that got a whole lot of cavities,
right?
But you haven't put any filters or parameters on where the limit is, right? That's the parent's job to do, right?
Corinthian, filtering and Kia is very heavy on filtering. Tablets are huge. YouTube, as great as it is in a lot of cases not a safe place for kids. It's a lot that you can do on YouTube. There's kids YouTube, things like that. But filtering it's when you said filtering, it just made me think that when we were growing up, when mom heard a curse word on the TV,
change the channel.
Hey, turn that off or change the channel.
Yes.
That was filtering.
That's filtering.
That's filtering. Filtering isn't when you in the house cursing. Yeah. Now, if you grown, you can use it. What kind of polysyllabic words? Is it polysyllabic? How many polysyllabic words you want? But the thing is, what your kids hear you do and say,
they're going to do.
Most of the time, they're going to mimic this outside of your guidance. You can tell them don't do it. If you're doing it, you can say don't do this. Yeah. But if you can't keep repeating and doing it, they're gonna say, "Well, my parents are doing it." So a lot of things can come up. So exposure is very, very important. You can expose your kids to good things, but you can also expose your kids to bad habits as well. And I'm just gonna say that using words to describe things that are considered curse words, I'm just going to say that it's not necessarily a good habit. I don't think any good can come out of cursing. All right. Now, you might feel good coming out your mouth, but I don't think any good can come out. So I would say it's a bad habit, right? It's just a habit. So I'm not condemning anybody that curses or anything. That's your business. But I'm just saying it could be a bad habit. And that could be something that you don't want your child to pick up on. Yeah. So exposure is very important. So filtering is very important for your child. So what they watch, what they listen to, how they dance. I'm going to say this again. How they dance. If you see your son doing something, gyrating and all, no, hold up. Boy, where did you learn this from? First off, because you didn't learn it from me. First off, you didn't learn it from me. Like, where did you get this from? Or things that they say, like, where did you hear this? And that's one question that you got to start asking your kid. Where did you hear it?
See,
that should be a question that you use in your use a lot. Where did you see this? And where did you hear it? Because then that lets you know as a parent, okay, well, you can't watch that no more. Or if you heard this, I don't want to ever hear you say it. And a lot of times when you send your kids to school, they might hear something that their friends say, but then you have to now say, okay, well, Johnny can do that at his house.
Yeah.
But as for me and my house,
yeah.
So,
see, Arthur, I love what you said, man. The scary thing about, it's a sign of the times.
What's up, Charmaine, man? Hey, my bad, Corinthian. Hey, Charmaine, congratulations on 40 under 40 for Old Dominion University, man. You're doing your thing.
That's
keep doing your thing. Keep letting your light shine. Again, congratulations on your 40 under 40. And I believe we'll be celebrating you in August. So congratulations, bro.
That's awesome. So, man, one of the scary things I would surmise parents have to face is that it can be Fort Knox at your house.
Oh,
but when you send them outside your door, they're exposed to so much. So they sit in class next to people that, they didn't see some of everything. And so, even though you have a strong filter in your place, they're getting exposed, they're getting influenced. And I would say the way TV, the way cartoons are set up now, like cartoons are set up to bypass filters. Like they are trying to teach kids it's a whole lot of different agendas being out there now. So,
Good. I'm sorry, man. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of stopped listening to you because Kia posted gyrating as part of our culture when it comes to dance, and I was like, yeah, I know, that's how we met.
That's how the kids got here. That's how
I know.
I know. We know that.
That's why I'm trying to filter.
That's why I'm trying to filter. That's how Baylor and Blake got here last time. We know this.
Oh man.
But they know they get our point, Arthur. R. Kelly, Bump and Grind.
Oh, Corinthian.
Should we have known the lyrics to that song?
Nah,
What are you talking about? Yeah.
I don't see nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Oh man, Corinthian, you just made me think of some. It's the remix to Ignition, popping fresh out the kitchen.
Oh, R. Kelly has
some. Rolling that body, got every man in.
R. Kelly has some.
But it also made me think about Genuine.
Now, I'll say this. We had to sneak and listen to that.
Oh, yeah,
we couldn't listen to that stuff just outright.
No.
We had to sneak and listen to 103 James. So our parents was trying to filter.
Corinthian, if you listening to this and you know anything about BET Uncut,
and that's the conclusion of Giggity. We can talk offline.
Matter of fact, all the kids should be in bed right now. Anyway, if you know anything about BET Uncut, shame on you.
Hey, I used to stay up. I open like this. Oh,
no, BET. Listen, R. Kelly was a hit maker. Yes, he was. Man, that might even need to be a whole show. Because R. Kelly, I will say this, man, and I feel sorry for the brother, but if he did it, yeah, he need to be where he need to be.
He need to be where he's at. If he did it, yep.
But R. Kelly had some hits, man.
Yes, and he wrote a lot of songs for like, yeah.
R. Kelly, is the king of R&B. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. I said it. You heard it here on Kicking It with the Kellys. Obviously, R. Kelly kicking it with the Kellys. He was king. He was king of R&B. I'm just letting you know that right now. Go to Africa and see how they're dancing. Y'all are terrible. And then what Heidi said this: kids want to be accepted by their peers, so it's sometimes a battle with pleasing their peers versus listening to their parents.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But then I would ask a question to that, because it's a great point. How are we building up our kids to where they are comfortable enough in their own skin to say, no, that's not what I'm about?
Ooh.
Like what I'm saying is, so we've been raising kids and they go out into the world, and the world is shifting them from what they've been we've instilled in them, right?
Oh.
Which is that's a disturbing trend to me, because what I would want our kids be raised like, they lights when they walk into a school. So they shifting people to the light as opposed to their light getting dim, right? So how do we get back to that? Because I would want to send some kids to school where everybody in the classroom can be drinking, and the kids sit there and say, no, that's not what I'm about. I won't raise that way. So I don't need none of that.
Oh, Corinthian.
Now that's hard to do, but it can be done.
Corinthian. Oh my goodness. The battle of the peas. Corinthian. I'm so like a light just came in my head. And it had me thinking when Heidi said this, kids want to be accepted by their peers, so it's sometimes a battle with pleasing their peers versus listening to their parents. The battle of the peas, right?
Mm-hmm.
The question would be, have you instilled enough in your kids to where they are not afraid of what their peers will think of them when they listen to their parents?
Wow.
Corinthian, if my mom or dad told me, no, I can't do this,
yeah,
then your kid tells their friends, my mom and dad said I can't go.
Yeah.
So the battle of the peas, Corinthian, and then listen, it even goes further than that. Have you instilled enough in your kids to where your kids are going to want to tell you about the stuff that's going on?
Wow.
Corinthian, listen, man, I was at camp today. Camp this week, and a young brother, I know the family, and I told the family that I was going to look out for their son, and he hadn't drunken his water in camp. And when I saw him, I said, "Hey, did you drink your water today?" And he said, "No, I couldn't get my cap open." I said, "It's okay." Hey, so we went and got the water. He drunk some. His dad told me the next day, he said, "Man, thank you so much. I appreciate you for helping my son get his water." And I was like, "Oh, man, that's nothing." And he was like, "Yeah, man, he tells me everything." And I was like, man, Corinthian, that hit home to me just a few minutes ago. And will they succumb to peer pressure, or will they listen to their parents? Man, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that's deep. That's very.
Sometimes they will give in to peer pressure, and then it becomes a life lesson. Yeah, we're all gonna fall. We're all gonna fall, and obviously you're gonna want to be in the in crowd. But the question is, and I think the scripture in the Bible is true. If you train up a child in the way that they should go, when they're old, they won't part from it. Now, I don't know if the scriptures is saying that's 100% finite. Yeah. But it does give you a blueprint that if you do train up a child in the way that they should go, when they're old, they won't part from it. And that could be, and they're teaching their children the same kind of lessons, everything. So I don't know if, again, it's 100% finite. If you train them up in the way they should go, that they won't fall by the wayside. I'm not saying that, because the story of the prodigal son, all those things, but it does ring a great message there.
Well, I'll land my plane here, Arthur. Again, to me, the onus goes on the parent.
Yeah.
Like, I would want the kid saying something like, well, I can't say my parent didn't tell me. Like, whether you make a mistake or not, like, I knew to do that. Like, my parents have been telling me to do it this way. Right. I just chose to do something different. Right. Now, I can live with that. So you got to learn the lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
But there are some situations where the parent ain't telling the kid the right way to do it. I mean, I've seen that with my own two. Arthur, when I worked in Baltimore, I saw a little kid. The kid was probably 2 years old. He was crossing the street. His mom was on the other side of the street, but his mom is telling him to cross the street, and she cursing at the kid. The kid is 2. I mean, he couldn't have been no more than 2. He's wobbling across the street. But I'm like, if you're growing up hearing that's how you talk to the 2-year-old at that young age, then I mean, what do you think gonna happen? You see what I'm saying? Like, so the point I'm trying to make is that the person that needed correction in that whole situation was the adult, like, because that's not the way. That ain't a loving way to tell a 2-year-old to cross the street, right?
Wow.
But so the point I'm trying to make is there's some correction that needs to happen, not for kids, but for adults. But who's going, once you get to a certain age,
we already said it. Their parent got to correct. I mean, your parents still have to get guidance from their parents. So it's a lot of things that mom did, like even with raising Bella and Blake, a lot of things that mom has said to me about raising children. Yeah. I mean, we still have to be able to provide that guidance even when our kids become of age. Parents need parenting school.
Yeah.
I wish it was a blueprint for parents. It's not. It's not a one size fits all. It got to be a course. It's like levels to, you got the 100 level classes, the 200 level classes, 300 level, 400 level classes. That's just like in parenting. It's just so many levels of parenting styles and everything. Mm-hmm. Kia said this, and it said something about kissing, so I definitely got to say this. Bill and I were talking one day about growing up and him liking girls. I told him one day he will want to kiss a girl, and I asked him what he would do when he has that desire. He said he'll ask me.
Wow.
All right, good night, Corinthian. I gotta go talk to Bill.
You gotta go ahead.
You gotta make sure who this girl is.
Manhood trade. Look, I
Charmaine, you're right. Old school parenting is taboo. Why did we get away from old school parenting? I mean, seriously. But you got to look at. I mean,
someone said it earlier though. Like old school, you can have resentment from it. You can see old school, old fashioned as limiting you from doing stuff, right? Where it might not have been explained the right way, where, just do it because I said so. That's old school. Instead of taking the time to explain why I'm telling you not to do it. But to me, the old school, a lot more stuff was getting filtered, right?
Oh,
yeah. New school way, right? Okay, you want to be your kid's best friend, and I mean, I wouldn't agree with that strategy because it blurs a line. Like my kids have friends. I'm a parent though. It's totally different. My whole goal is to guide you to a place where you can be self-sufficient, productive, respectful. You keep your word. Like I got to teach you how to do that because that's not stuff that you just not gonna naturally do.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So
Corinthian. I think old school parenting had P's as well. And we talking about the battle of the P's. It had P's as well.
Yeah.
It was a hedge of protection. And I think old school parents provided for needs, not more.
Yeah.
And I think that was the general messaging that they provided for your needs, and then they protected you.
Yeah, I put a roof over your head.
Yeah.
You got like yeah.
That was the sentiment.
Yes.
You eat 3 meals, or you eat your breakfast. You eat. Is a roof over your head. You have a bed to lay your head.
Yes.
Yes. I'm providing for you here.
Yes.
And then they protected us from a lot of things, like whether it was sleepovers or whether it was, there was a hedge of protection somewhere. They kept us near the church. And a lot of old fashioned, it dealt a lot with the church. In a lot of cases, right?
Yeah.
Even if they didn't go to church regularly, it was kind of like, okay, we still fear God or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the hedge of protection. I think new school parenting allows for feelings.
It's a lot more feelings.
More feelings.
It's a lot more feelings.
A lot more feelings based.
Hey, Arthur, so it's pros and cons to both, right?
Yeah.
It's pros. Now, I lean more towards. What? Yeah, I think you know which one I lean towards. Because when as you matriculate and grow into adulthood, Arthur, where is space where, because of your feelings, you cannot turn something in? Like, because you felt, you still got to meet the deadline. So the point I'm trying to make is that, right, if you have the kids tapping their feelings, they'll be able to share how they're feeling. They sad, happy, mad, and stuff like that. And so after you share all that stuff out, you still got to turn this thing in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think see, I already know you want to go, Corinthian. You want to go there. Need old school parenting values, but new school parenting communication. Oh wow,
That's it.
You do gotta know what is going on with the kids and how to communicate with them.
I agree 100%.
Charmaine, I agree with you, man.
I agree 100% there. Yes.
Old school parenting values, but new school parenting communication.
Yeah. You still got, see, new school is, old school is do this because I said so.
Oh yeah.
New school is I'm telling you to do this, but I'm gonna tell you why. And
see, there's a lot more. See, that's too much talking. That's too much. See, no, okay, I'm gonna say it. It really is, but I'm finding that as a parent, I gotta explain some stuff. Oh Lord, but that's too much talking to me. It really is. There's too many words being said. You know how, like, when you write an essay, they give you 100 word minimum. When I'm talking my kids, you get it. I'm not going over the amount of words. A lot of it.
Arthur, you like Twitter. Arthur, you like Twitter. I got 40 characters. And that's all you get.
And listen, after these 40 cages are over,
it's milk coming out. No, it's I'm not repeating myself.
I'm not. Brandon, at this camp, I tell them straight up, first day, this is what I do at my camp. Normally I coach girls, right? I'm coaching boys in this camp, right? And I coach boys totally different from girls. I'm sorry, I just do. But and somebody said log, your kids say log on. Corinthian, one thing that I do, I set a precedent when I meet with my boys. One, every morning of this camp, I shake each one of their hands and tell them good morning. Every morning, I shake their hand, good morning. When I'm coaching them or explaining something, I already lay out the ground rules. Coach Kelly does not repeat himself. That was the first rule that they learned. Once I say something, I said it. I don't repeat myself. When we were going through a drill the other day, one of the boys, he wasn't paying attention. He wasn't listening. I explained the drill. I explain it. I show you. I do everything. He went and did the drill and did not do what I said. I said, you didn't hear me or when I told y'all this? And then I said, fellas, please tell him what I said. After that, now everybody has to do push-ups because my first rule was I don't repeat myself. So that means you weren't paying attention to what I was telling. You didn't feel it was important enough to listen to when I was explaining or giving you the instruction. So now you have to face the consequences of not listening. So, Corinthian, that's my old school parent. When I tell you this, or if I count down and I get to 1 and you still on them steps,
Yeah,
it's gonna be some furniture moving.
yes,
because I'm not repeating myself.
yes. But Arthur, you gave them fair warning up top. So
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
I understand, Arthur. It's consequences
Yeah.
to not following instructions.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I'm in total agreement with that approach. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm thinking of my next 40 characters that I'm going to, when I come out this Zoom, if nobody in this bitch.
And we're gonna land the plane here because I said the next 40 characters. Oh man.
Corinthian, man, it's been another one. Hey guys, thank y'all so much for logging in. We're kicking it with the Kellys tonight. We were talking about we started this with Vacation Bible School and how the community is important. And then we got on to parenting and parenting styles and what works for you. And Corinthian, you asked a great question. Do you feel that as a parent, is it important to apologize to your kids when you're wrong? And thank you so much for the feedback and the questions and for all the guidance that a lot of these parents have given tonight. If you are tuning in for the first time, thank you for tuning in with Kicking It with the Kellys. Also, this show was live, so you can rewatch this show and share it with someone that you believe needs to hear this. We talked about the P's, parents and peers. Hopefully your child is picking the latter as far as they're listening to what their parents have instilled in them, as opposed to going with the grain and going against the grain and going with their peers. We talked about the importance of family. And if you are having a family reunion this summer, we applaud you or applaud your family. Keep your families together. That's all we got. All we have is family. And I hope that if there are some severed ties within family units, that they be mended and that y'all can resolve issues, whether it was a death of a parent and now you finding out, who got to split this money and y'all just come together, that there be no breaking of the family. I mean, especially if you're Black, we've already been broken enough. Our families, our forefathers were already broken enough. The families were split up. We should not continue that cycle this day. So mend those familiar units and bring them back in the fold. Corinthian, you got anything else to say to the viewers?
No, man, you covered everything. Thank you all so much for kicking it with us. And we trying to have a special guest back with us hopefully soon. So y'all might help us be able to coax this person, to join our show.
Oh yeah. And if you don't know it, we're hopefully our brother Daryl can be on. If not our next episode, 2 weeks from now, hopefully he can join us. And just write in the comment section, Daryl, please join your brother. Kicking it with the Kelly. This is our older brother, and once you get us three together, the internet might break. So we just let you know that right now. The internet might break once we all get on. But please just put it in a little comment section. Daryl, please join your brothers on the show. You know how they were saying Barabbas. Daryl.
Send him out here. Look, have you seen that episode, Sanford and Son? We want the 3 degrees. The singers. Do you remember the 3 degrees? Oh man,
no, Corinthian. Hold up. I'm thinking I've seen every Sanford.
No, man, they be like, we want the 3 degrees. It's the singers. They were staying at Fred's house. Man.
Okay. I think I didn't know that they were the 3 degrees.
Yeah. They were actual singing group. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna post that actually on our feed. I gotta find that episode.
Yeah, no.
Somebody Kia asked, y'all want me to come back?
Yeah, if your ring light is fixed, hey,
no. Honestly, yeah, no. We gonna get you back. We had a good. That was one of our best shows.
But Arthur, I don't think we need to do that show live. We need to pre-record.
We gotta record
that. Like they do for the Super Bowl, where it's pre-recorded.
Yes. Hey guys, again, thank you for kicking it with us. We excited to be back. Life be lifing. So we had to take a little hiatus, but we're back, and we hope that you join us next Thursday, if it be the Lord's will, as they said. Now all hearts and minds are clear. It's time for the benediction. Hey, Corinthian, hey, just keep swinging, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes,
keep
sir.
Swinging for the fences, man.
All right, yo.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for kicking with us, and good night.
It's just some things you can't do no more, and some places you can't go no more. Some things you say you can't say anymore.
On Bourbon Street or not, but
Corinthian said this is oil. It's probably big. What is bigger than oil? This thing is diamonds. Like it's like so massive.
Not gonna do this with y'all. Y'all not gonna. This is cyberbullying.